Fire Emblem Sacred Stones turns 20 today, and it is one of the most important games to me that I think has had one of the biggest impacts on myself from when I was a child to a grown-ass man right now, and I wanted to kind of just talk about it, you know? This isn't anything scripted, it's off the cuff. This is essentially a podcast, except without other people, and it's just one dude speaking fluent Japanese. So, now that I've gotten a solid 70% of you to click off the video, I first played Sacred Stones when I was, I want to say 7 or 8, depending on how close I bought it to when, like, the day it launched. And it was only my second strategy RPG ever. The first one was Shining Force, and I just made a big video about that. And I was not very good at it. Coming from Shining Force that lets you revive your units when they die, I did not process that very well as a child. I distinctly remember I got to Vigard's map on Ephraim's route. I picked Ephraim over Eirika because I was a 7-year-old boy and girls had cooties, so I wanted to play as the guy. And I remember I got to Vigard's map with only Dussel and Ephraim alive. And I couldn't beat that map because of the Berserk staff user on it. He kept berserking Ephraim and Dussel and they would just run off and die. So I had to restart the entire game from the beginning, and I picked Eirika and I beat it because Eirika's route's a little easier. But gameplay-wise, it definitely got me better at games because it taught me as a child that I need to use my brain. Which is funny to say about Sacred Stones given its status in the community as the easiest Fire Emblem out there. But you know, I was a child. I didn't think about things. I was struggling to beat Brock in Pokemon Yellow because I refused to catch anything other than Pikachu. I had to level up my Pikachu to 20 to beat it. Anyways. So it definitely helped bridge it into, like, my own, like, love of video games into harder games. I remember eventually I would pick up action games like Devil May Cry and had a great time with them. It's weird to think the pipeline started with me, like, learning strategy and thinking in Sacred Stones. But while the gameplay is really fun, a lot of people say it's easy. I thought it was great as a kid. I played it through multiple times using all kinds of different units and different branching promotions. I remember I really liked Sage Arter. Like, I know he's objectively better as a bishop, same with Molder, but I remember there was one run where I just used Sage, Molder, and Arter, and Celet for some reason. Don't know why, but they were magical. The monster designs are wicked. I love, like, demon designs, that's why I love Shin Megami Tensei, and then just monster designs and stuff like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, the Heartless and Kingdom Hearts. Like, I love some good monster designs, and Sacred Stones has a ton of good ones. Not just, like, it's got generic zombies and skeletons, like, it's not exactly complex monsters, but the sprite work, the sound design for them, it's all amazing, and who doesn't love a good Mogul, you know? Fighting them definitely made it stand out more to me, and I loved Sacred Stones for that. It's really fun. It's also a very quick playthrough, which is something I think Sacred Stones doesn't get enough credit for. Because I think Fire Emblem works best when it's very quick playthroughs. Fire Emblem is a series that thrives on replayability, and if replaying the game every time takes me like 20 hours, that's pretty good. Sacred Stones is way shorter than that, actually. It's like, if I actually sat down, skipped cutscenes, and just played Sacred Stones, I could probably beat it in one sitting. Like, the only map that really takes any time is Scorched Sand. And because of that, I did a lot of runs, saw a lot of supports, because I kept using different units. I played my original Sacred Stones cartridge to death. And I still have it. I still have my original Sacred Stones cartridge. It's in a box somewhere, because if I ever want to replay Sacred Stones, I just boot it up on the computer. But gameplay-wise, it was my gateway into more strategy titles, and now I've played a lot more. Into the Breach and Unicorn Overlord are really good ones you should check out. And I just genuinely love the genre. Shining Force put my foot in the door. Sacred Stones grabbed me by the balls, sat me down, and said, "You're not leaving." But more than the gameplay, what hooked me to Sacred Stones was its story and characters. I've gone on many, many tangents about how much I love Eirika and Lyon, I've made character analysis episodes of both of them. Even when I'm not talking about them specifically, I'll bring them up in other videos because I just love the two of them. And I love Ephraim too. Don't think I'm leaving him out. I just haven't done an episode on him yet. He's great too. I guess I should start with Eirika. I really, really like Eirika. I think her character really speaks to me because she's someone who's very naive, right? Like, she looks at the world around her and thinks in sunshine and rainbows. You know, she can talk no jutsu her way out of any problem. Like, if men see reason, then they'll stop fighting, and other fun lies you can tell yourself. And when faced with the reality of the world, and seeing that there are people whose hearts and minds good words will never reach, it causes her to stumble for a bit, especially with Lyon. Like, she's not ready to accept that until she stares face to face with true evil like Navala, Volter, etc. And even with that, she doesn't just suddenly become, like, cold. It's not a character development of the world is harsh, so you need to be harsher. It's not any of that edgy bullshit that's only popular to high school losers. It's, Eirika is still kind, but she just understands that kindness comes at a price, and that there are some people that you can't be kind to. It's literally Gohan from Dragon Ball. Yeah, that's my thesis statement. If Lucina is Trunks, Eirika is Gohan. Except a Gohan that doesn't get fucked over by the Buu Saga. Anyways. And I really like that. I feel like it's more realistic, because the world is a cold place. But it's not entirely. There are plenty of people out there who are genuinely good and loving, and sharing that love with the world is how you make the coldness of it bearable. I like that Eirika, from the offset, is this stereotypical, like, woman in a JRPG. You know, she's got the generic kindness, the male lead next to her is brasher, more arrogant, and they do something funky with it. It's not just played straight. And it's also not just abandoning the ideas either. It's not just like, oh, look at Eirika, she's this kind, dainty girl, and we're going to completely flip that. She still is very kind. It's just their kindness eventually comes to be with a stronger, more knowledgeable woman at the center who chooses to be kind in spite of that. Ephraim's the opposite. Ephraim, I've come to really appreciate Ephraim more and more every time that I play Sacred Stones, because at the surface level, he is that sort of stereotypical male lead bravado. He goes in, he doesn't pick fights he can't win, and he thinks all of his problems can be solved if he picks up a lance and stabs it really hard. But that's not true. You can't just fight all of your problems. Empathy is incredibly important. Ephraim, much like how Eirika kind of like, I don't know what I want to say, like, re-examines, I guess, the stereotypical female JRPG lead. Ephraim re-examines the stereotypical male JRPG lead, because his bravado, his desire to fight, is actively a problem. The game is like, Ephraim is stupid for doing this. He needs to learn to tackle problems with more kindness, more love, more empathy, and he learns to do that through talking with Tana or Larshel, or seeing Lyon just completely lose it. Ephraim eventually learns you can't solve all the problems with violence. That's why in his epilogue, I believe I've said this in my examination of him losing the stone to Lyon, Ephraim's final problem is a humanitarian crisis. It's an earthquake in Grotto, and that's not something he can stab to fix. He has to be tactful, he has to know how to allocate aid. It's not a problem that you can fight, and it's really good. I like both of them. I'm trying not to have this video be 3 hours long, so I'm kind of speaking in like gaps, like I'm trying to summarize it more. I go more in depth in this kind of thing in lots of other videos. I'll link some Sacred Stones videos I've made in the description. I'm giving you the cliff notes. And Lyon is my favorite villain in gaming. Is he number one? He's number one. Eirika's in my top 5 video game characters ever. It's really funny. My top 5 video games characters ever would be like James Sunderland, Yuri Lowell, Eirika, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Kazuma Kiryu. So, you know, try wrapping your head around that. But Lyon is my favorite villain, because not only does he work to accentuate both of the twins' own character struggles in it, like, he helps Eirika realize that there are some people you can't save, and she has to kill him. It's one of the saddest moments. I think the saddest moment in Fire Emblem, genuinely the one that makes me cry the most. And he helps Ephraim's character arc, because Ephraim never realized how much Lyon was hurting, because he never thought of that. Ephraim, in many ways, is very selfish, and it was his own lack of tact and empathy that was part of the reason Lyon went down the path that he did. So not only does he really accentuate the main characters, which in my opinion is what a good villain should do, his character also stands out on his own as a cautionary tale. I've analyzed his character. It was like a full 20-30 minute episode. I'll, again, link that. But the long and short of it is, when his father died, Lyon couldn't accept it. Death comes for us all, the Pale Rider is merciless, but you need to be able to move on. You can't just give up. Lyon gave up. Rather than looking to the people that loved and cared about him, like Noel, like Eirika, like Ephraim, he just kind of went into himself and just collapsed, even though there were people that were there to help him. And, you know, all the shit that happens there. He's an excellent cautionary tale that manages to be sympathetic, but not like, aw, my cute little baby Mew Mew. No, Lyon deserved what happened to him. He definitely revived Satan, but you still feel bad for him in spite of that, even if you know what happens to him is ultimately a demise of his own making. I think all three leads are fantastic, and playing Sacred Stones when the other JRPG I was playing was Final Fantasy X really gave me an appreciation for the bittersweet endings. Like, Final Fantasy X's ending is not happy, it's also not sad. And then 10-2 undoes it, but it kind of works for 10-2's tone. I don't know how to feel about that. And it just, because life goes on. That's kind of what Sacred Stones tells you. Eirika's ending, where she thinks, oh, we have the Fire Emblem, we might be able to revive Dad and Lyon. And then going, no, we can't do that, they're dead, we need to deal with it. That's a good lesson to teach. I, like everyone else on this fucking planet, have had people I loved and cared about die. It's part of living, but, you know, I put on my pants and go out to work, because the world's not going to stop for me. I'll have my moments where I'm sad about it, I'll have my moments where I cry, but like Eirika and Ephraim, I just gotta keep going, you know? And I think their story tells that very important lesson, and a bunch of other little lessons, while also being really enjoyable characters. And speaking of characters, I think Sacred Stones has the best cast in the series. All 33 of the game's playable characters all have really solidly developed characters. A lot of them have really good backstories and motivations. I think the only casts I think rival it are Three Houses and Echoes. But even still, not to put any other game down, I think Sacred Stones has a phenomenal cast. I could literally sit here and talk to you about every single character. I could talk about how Marissa's self-esteem issues culminated in incredible social awkwardness that's both really, like, you feel sorry for the woman, but it can also be really funny, it can also be really serious, depending on how the cards are dealt for her. I can talk about Larchelle and her false bravado that she puts up, and how, again, it can be really funny if she's annoying the shit out of Rennick, or having one brain cell between her and Dozla, and then very sad in her Eirika support. I can talk about Inez, Tana, like, all of them are amazing. They take the tropes that Fire Emblem has been doing for so long, and most of them, in my opinion, are among the best at what they do. Like, if I think, who's my favorite laid-back cavalier? I'm gonna tell you Ford. Oh, who's your favorite mage character? Probably Noel. I'm gonna be honest with you, he's one of them. Like, your favorite Jagan, personality-wise. Okay, that was a bad example, because I would say Titania, but Seth is also up there. Like, my very first character analysis episode that I ever made for this channel was Seth. And that is because I loved him and I wanted more people to see his character, and Sacred Stones felt like it rewarded me for looking more into them. Every character has something really interesting and really cool, be it sad or funny or just engaging. It's really good. It's a solid cast. I strongly encourage you to look through their support some. They're all fantastic. But looking through them gave me an appreciation for looking deeper into stories. Eventually this would culminate in me playing Silent Hill 2, which is look for the deeper meaning the video game. And that's one of my that is my favorite story in any video game ever. Just like, so much of what I love came to me from Sacred Stones. My love of the bittersweet. My love of stories about characters that are kind despite everything. That's why I will always love you, Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I will always love you, Phoenix Wright. Like, just characters that are kind and believe in other people. Love them to death, Sacred Stones is why. My love of sympathetic villains also started with Lyon. Like, every single thing about me, I think I can trace back to this game. It is why it is so important to me. That and Donkey Kong 64, but those aspects of my personality I'll have to go into another time. But I don't want this video to be too long, because, you know, there were times and places for like 3-hour-long videos. I'm not really that kind of guy. I tried to make hour-long retrospective videos and then fell out of it. I like to keep things shorter, more succinct and to the point. So this is a bit of a rambly video, but I just really wanted to make something about how much I loved Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I'm sure I'll replay it for some dumb challenge on the channel, and I strongly encourage you to try it for yourself. I could keep talking for hours and hours. Like, I could just make a podcast on Sacred Stones and have an episode for every character, and I could probably genuinely make that work. I'm not going to, because I don't listen to podcasts. I don't even know what makes a good podcast, but I could. The odds are low, but not zero. In all seriousness, I love this game. I love it to pieces, and I just wanted to make a quick little video. Again, nothing serious, nothing like... I'm not really even going to try editing this too hard, I don't know if I'm going to go back on that. But I just wanted to say, I love Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and happy 20th anniversary. It means a lot to me, and thank you for listening to me ramble for a little under 20 minutes about a video game that changed my life.